Good morning. Today on Spotlight, we finish up our candidate interviews for the 2 open seats on the Michigan Supreme Court. Recently, we featured Paul Hudson and Kyra Harris Bolton. This week, we'll introduce you to incumbent justices Brian Zahra and Richard Bernstein, and attorney Kerry Lee Morgan, who wants one of their seats. It's Sunday, November the 6th. I'm Chuck Stokes, and this is Spotlight. Since 2011, what's been your greatest satisfaction of being on that court? Or greatest reward?
So it is very rewarding to have input in the legal fabric of the state of Michigan. Sometimes it's in the form of majority opinion, but sometimes also in dissents. Because it helps mold the law, overall law. The dissents are always responded to in the majorities, and even when I would write a majority, if there was a dissent, I'd give consideration to the dissent. And it's a collective body of 7. People don't realize how much administrative work the Supreme Court has. We're charged with overseeing all the courts for the state of Michigan. So we are the rule makers for the rules of evidence, the rules of civil procedure. We oversee every court. We appoint the chief judges, and we have a number of commissions. And for me personally, my administrative work that I enjoy the most is the Justice for All Commission and overseeing the Michigan Business Court. There's a large number of people, particularly in our district court, who have no ability to obtain legal help. And so what the Justice for All Commission is doing is trying to fill those gaps.
What's been the biggest regret, disappointment, challenge, whichever words you want to play with there, of being on that court? Because I'm sure not every day is a day in the sun.
So it certainly is disappointing when you present to your colleagues your legal position and it is turned down. So particularly in close cases that are 4-3. But you have to accept it. This is the process. This is a collective body. That's the way it works. And I write dissents. I write passionate dissents with the hope that someday perhaps it'll be picked up.
Is there a case that you would look to and say, this is what I'm most proud of? If I had to just share one case with the voters and say, this exemplifies my tenure on this bench?
People have asked me that over the years, and I try not to think about it. In many respects, it's kind of like when you ask a parent, which is your favorite child?
Yeah.
But in fact, there is one over the course of time that I'm most proud of, that I think has positively impacted the state of Michigan. And it's Raffaelli versus Oakland County Treasurer. And don't mean to single out Oakland County, that happened to be the case, but all over the state of Michigan, counties were using a statute to foreclose on people who hadn't paid property taxes. In this particular case of Raffaelli, he paid his taxes, but he didn't pay them in full, and there was a small amount that was outstanding. I think it was in the neighborhood of $12 or $15, but then penalties and taxes tacked on. He owned the property, but was a resident in California. There's a question about whether he actually knew he owed it. Eventually, they took it to tax foreclosure sale. They sold it and then kept all of the proceeds, did not return any of the money in excess of what was owed in taxes, penalty, and interest. And as I say, it was happening all over the state. And what we found in a near majority opinion that I authored is that this violated Michigan's constitutional takings clause. The government has a right to property taxes. And if you don't pay your property taxes, the government has a right to sell the property. The question was, do they have the right to keep all of the proceeds when they were only entitled to a small portion of it? And we concluded that they are not.
Justice, you are running for a nonpartisan position, but you were nominated by a political party in this state, a major political party. So a lot of people look at that and say, it's kind of quasi nonpartisan because there's still politics involved. Is that the best process, or should we make this strictly by appointment by governor or some commission, et cetera, and take the political realm out of it? Or can the political realm be taken out of this?
That's a great question, Chuck. And frankly, when I first became a judge, I really did believe judges shouldn't be running for office. They should simply be appointed, much like the federal system. I've come around on that. I do think we should run for office. But I don't think the Supreme Court should be nominated by the political party. I've done a little bit of research into the history of the Michigan Constitution and how they came up with this notion of nominating by party and then running nonpartisan. And the drafters of the Constitution wanted to ensure that at the Supreme Court, the court's highest state, that voters would always have a choice. And so, unlike other judges, they allowed political parties to nominate, and they assumed that they would nominate quality people, and then the voters would have an opportunity to elect on the nonpartisan portion of the ballot. I understand the rationale there, but I think it's been a disservice because when the court's opinions are reported upon, they're often reported in terms of partisan political divide. And today the court issued an opinion 4-3 Democrat majority, or today the court issued an opinion 5-2 with Republican Justice X joining the Democrats. We are not partisan politicians. We interpret law. Our duty is to the law. I would like to see the Constitution modified so that judges who are justices who are on the Supreme Court, just like any other judge in the state, if someone wants to run against them, they should go out and collect petitions, file those petitions, and then run against them as opposed to party nominations.
On your website, top of your website, it says champion for the rule of law. So with that in mind, as you look at what happened on January 6th and you look at who is now currently serving in the White House, in your mind, is President Biden the legitimately elected president of the United States?
Yes.
The law rules.
I mean, there's not much to say. There were challenges that came through the system in Michigan, and the court unanimously rejected those challenges in Michigan. And there's no question but that we have an elected president, and it's Joe Biden.
Coming up, Michigan Supreme Court Justice Richard Bernstein. You sued your alma mater, the University of Michigan.
I don't work there anymore. It's not a great career move when you sue your employer.
I would imagine
Just
not.
telling you.
You sued Oakland County. You sued New York City. You sued Delta Airlines. Was it difficult when you got on the court to make that shift from being an advocate to being a justice and, quote unquote, being nonpartisan and fair? Or do you describe yourself as an advocate judge?
No, I think that the key is that as the first blind Michigan Supreme Court justice, you have to do your job exceptionally well. When you become a judge, you become a judge. Now, yes, I had the opportunity to represent veteran. That's why I took on all those cases, is because I really wanted to serve as a JAG officer, but wasn't able to because of my disability. Mm-hmm. So then I dedicated myself to representing our nation's veterans in all of those cases that you were citing. I just wanted life to be better for our veterans. And I have to say, Chuck, the thing that I'm most proud of is because of all that work, I was asked to be the keynote speaker at West Point to their global conference on leadership. Mm-hmm. And actually, I just got back because I was asked to also do the keynote speech for the Department of the Navy. So the military is something I've always had a passion for. And I think when it comes down to these positions and why we do what it is that we do, for me, it really comes down to the notion of service. I wanted to serve in uniform, but I wasn't permitted, understandably, because of my disability. So I took on this job so that I could serve in a different way. And when your question is a really good one, but it really comes down to when you're going to be the first at something, you have to do it exceptionally well. And for me, my focus has been trying to be the most exceptional judge I can be. And I think going to your question, that's why the newspapers have all said that I'm the most independent justice on the court.
If you had to single out a single case that really defines what your judgeship is about, what would it be?
These are fabulous questions. I gotta tell you, I'm so enjoying this. I would say the Flint water case. I was given the opportunity to write the opinion that allowed for the residents of Flint to have their voice heard. And that was something that meant so much to me, to put pen to paper, to allow the residents of Flint to basically have the opportunity to sue the state due to what happened to them, because it wasn't an easy case, and it was a very close vote. But the ability to write that opinion that gave voice to the residents of Flint is something I'm very proud of. But within that same case, just to show the independence, when it came down to the criminal liability for the different leaders of Flint, I actually wrote the opinion that dismissed the charges. And the reason for that, Chuck, was because the government used an indictment process that was flawed. And because of that, the fact that they had used a one-man kind of grand jury system that I had great problems with, because I really felt that it goes against the tenets of our criminal justice system, you know, I had to basically write an opinion that dismiss the charges from the former governor as well as the other Flint officials.
Would it be a better system if all of you were appointed by the governor or some other board and not have to run and be voted by the people or nominated by a political party?
No, absolutely not. I think the election is far superior. Look, both processes, whether you're going to use an appointment process or an electoral process, have their pros and their cons. But here's the thing, Chuck. If we didn't use the electoral system, I don't think I'd be a Supreme Court justice. Because as a blind person, if I had to go in front of a merit selection board, I think what they would say is, oh, wow, how inspiring is it that this blind guy wants to be a judge? But then when the doors close, the conversation would go something like this. Oh, that's so great, but you know what? He probably can't do the job. He's different. He's not going to be able to do it the way everyone else does. Let's go with someone who basically looks like us or sounds like us. Let's go with someone that, we'll be more comfortable with. Whereas the electoral process, I'm able to take my message to the entire state of Michigan. I'm able to connect with people. It's all about connection. And what we found when I ran 8 years ago was, as a blind person running for this, I was able to connect with folks because people understand what it means to face struggle. People understand hardship. They understand challenge. They understand difficulty. And they realize that those are the kind of traits that they want in their Supreme Court justice.
Justice Bernstein, what has been the most challenging part of being a member of the Michigan Supreme Court?
I would say that,
or maybe most disappointing.
You know what? I would say there's really been nothing that has really disappointed me because, again, when you're the first to do something, you have the opportunity to make real change. And I would say that the beautiful thing about this job is every day you get to do something that's going to make life better for people in a really powerful and really exciting way. I mean, look, for me, Chuck, as a blind person, I have to memorize and internalize all the cases. And we're talking about 25 cases every week. But you do it, right? Because I asked for this position. I know I have to work a lot harder because of my disability. But you bring that passion, you bring that energy, you bring that sense of mission into the position, and ultimately you see every day the impact or the change that you're ultimately able to make.
These days, a vast number of political races end up being decided not necessarily by voters at the ballot box, but they end up in the highest court in that state having to make controversial decisions. How concerned are you that our democracy may be extremely fragile and might even be falling apart, and there's too much pressure being put on the justices of courts?
I think at the end of the day, that's what we're here for. And if you look at the polling, people have the highest level of respect for the judiciary over all the other branches. And I have to say, Chuck, I really believe judges will rise to the occasion because judges believe in the institution. Judges believe in the oath. And I think at the end of the day, judges will ultimately follow the law. And I think when you look at these kind of issues, I think you hit on a very significant point, which is what folks have to realize. So often people don't pay attention to the Michigan Supreme Court, but the Michigan Supreme Court will be the final word in making decisions as to everything that involves the electoral process.
Up next on Spotlight, attorney Kerry Lee Morgan. Why should the voters of Michigan put you on the Supreme Court in place of one of these incumbents?
Well, that's a great question. Been asked that several times, and I think in this election, the need for a justice who will actually protect the constitutional rights of the people is critical. You know, there's always a balance of power. The legislature adopts rules that tend to restrict those rights, and the executive branch does the same thing. And each of these types of cases ultimately comes to the court, and the court has to read the Constitution, identify the right allegedly being infringed, and if it's there, their job is to protect it and not to allow the other branches to run roughshod over their rights.
You've been a strong advocate, and most recently you've been an advocate on two of the most controversial things that have taken place in this state and in this country. One is on Governor Whitmer's COVID-19 orders. You did an amicus brief on that, challenged that. Also on Roe versus Wade, in which the highest court, the U.S. Supreme Court, overruled the Roe versus Wade decision, and you did a brief in support of the position that they took. Will you be an advocate if you're elected to the Michigan Supreme Court, or will you be a nonpartisan judge?
Well, I don't think I'll be actually either. I think that a justice on the Supreme Court's job is to read the Constitution, whether it grants a right to the people or it limits the power of government, and to rule as the law permits and requires. The law is the master. The judges have only one master, and that's the Constitution of Michigan and the federal Constitution to the extent it's supreme. But essentially in Michigan, it's the state constitution. It's not unusual that attorneys have been practicing over 40 years would take controversial cases and represent clients. And that's what we've done in our amicus brief. We represented clients and filed briefs in the Michigan Supreme Court. And in fact, our brief pointed out the separation of powers problem here in Michigan. And ultimately, the Michigan Supreme Court, by a narrow margin, struck down those orders of the governor. So to be on the winning side or the losing side is not unusual, but it's part of the practice of law, and that's something I've done for many years. As far as the Dobbs case you mentioned,
yes,
we really didn't argue abortion rightly or wrongly. We argued that the Supreme Court is likewise limited to the text of the Constitution, and that they shouldn't be inventing rights based on their interpretation of the Due Process Clause. And we pointed out that the liberal branch of the Supreme Court likes to insert rights into the Constitution when it deals with personal autonomy and intimate relationships. And the conservatives say, no, that's bad. You can only do it when it is based on something that is typical or well-grounded in our American traditions. But none of those tests are really in the Constitution. That's just the justices reserving to themselves the prerogative of rewriting the Constitution to suit a political interest. And our brief said both of those approaches are really inconsistent with the text of the Constitution.
You're nominated for this position by the Libertarian Party of Michigan. So some would say, and there's still politics involved. Is this the best way for us to get our Supreme Court justices?
Well, I think there's wins and losses here for the current approach allows third party to have their nominees actually participate in the process. And I think the more choice voters have, the better off it is. Alternates like a commission, I think, would only select among preferred Democrat and Republican nominees and exclude, individuals such as myself or other party, non-third parties or independents from consideration on the ballot. So it's not the best, but it's not the worst.
Was President Biden, is he the legitimate president of these United States?
Well, these are federal questions. They're not really state law questions or state jurisdiction questions.
But don't you think people would be interested in knowing where you fall on this? Do you believe that the decisions made by the courts in many different states that challenged the federal system, that they were accurate and they got it right?
Well, I believe all of those cases, especially in Pennsylvania, went to the U.S. Supreme Court, and the court said they got it right. You know, it comes down under our amendments in the federal Constitution. You know, the 12th Amendment describes the process, and the vote has to go to the House of Representatives meeting, and it did on January 6th. And they assembled and they decided that the President Biden was in fact the president. The remedy is not to tear the system down. The remedy is to have better political involvement and get your group inside and get your group elected, really.
We'll be back with some Election Day reminders right after this. Well, that's it for this week and the midterm campaign season. Don't forget to vote on Tuesday, November the 8th. The polls will be open from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. I'm Chuck Stokes. We'll be back next week with more newsmakers in the spotlight. We hope you have a great week.